when notable businessmen like Richard Branson and other more predominant VCs like Nordic VC invest minority stakes in your company, it's definitely something to be proud of. And this is the company we're talking about today, Lightyear. Going up against the likes of Trading 212s and the free trades of the world, another fintech is growing. Co-founded by Martin Sock and HQ'd in one of the most fastest growing fintechs and tech hubs in Europe, Estonia, we have seen Lightyear grow year on year and offering a fantastic service, which we're going to be talking about today. Now, before we begin, like most trading and investing platforms, the company makes money off uninvested cash, FX fees and commission on trades, but Lightyear brings a fresh approach to the whole space, and this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today, because there are certain features and tools on the platform that you can use that not many other providers provide, and I see Lightyear bringing a fresh approach to the whole space. Now, the three main things that we're going to be talking about on this video are the type of accounts that Lightyear has, the different features and tools that are available to you on Lightyear which make it unique, and lastly, the fees and charges that are associated with these different accounts. Now, firstly, coming onto the website, it's super clean and easy to navigate. And what we want to do firstly is, when we're having a look at what the company offers, they offer things that are typical to normal investing platforms. However, what's interesting about Lightyear is they offer something called vaults, which we'll get into in a minute. However, firstly, the typical accounts that we're used to are the stocks and shares ISA, which obviously if you've been a subscriber for a while, you know that I use that on my 212 account. We have the cash ISA and the general investment account and the business account. But for this video, we're going to be focused on the stocks and shares ISA, as most of you guys, as you mentioned to me, are longer term investors, right? So it's a typical ISA with this. There's nothing too crazy about it. So if you don't know, you'll have £20,000 maximum that you can put into your ISA. So for example, if you wanted to have two separate accounts, you wanted to put some money into a Lightyear account and a 212 account, 10,000 each for example, you can do that, right? Or if you wanted to use the one that's focused more on the property or the cash ISA, it's exactly the same thing, right? So again, similarly, you can easily transfer your ISA over if you wanted to take advantage of the app, which again is something that I'm always open to, because it's definitely a good app, and I've been investing money into the app as well, which on the next video I'll share with you guys. Now, I think what's more notable on this app is the prices, and even if you're looking at it compared to a Hargreaves Lansdowne, so these are a massive company, but they're Lightyear are very competitive. As you can see, Hargreaves, you have to pay money to buy an ETF, when again it's free, and it's pretty much the gold standard for these things to be free. Now, like most investing platforms, Lightyear does offer US, UK, European stocks as well as different ETFs, and I think what's key about Lightyear is they're continuously adding different products onto the platform as the company grows, which I'll share on screen here as well. Now again, this is following the Bank of England rate. If, for example, if you was even to put money into a cash ISA, you'll have 4% as your yield for that. But this is obviously subject to change, as there'll likely be rate cuts in the future. But again, who knows with what's going on in the world and Trump. Whatever Trump does, the UK seems to follow, right? Now, let's talk about the vaults feature, which I think makes this app more unique compared to the others. Now, although they are a typical money market fund, they obviously invest in short-term debt issued by governments and large institutions, right? So these, for example, this debt that's being issued has a very high credit rating and is unlikely to default. So that's how you'll get your interest paid out on a annual cadence, as an example. But I think this is broken down on to monthly terms. Now, although they are called vaults, your money is not locked away. It's very much easily accessible with these features, so there is no worry around getting access to your money when you need it. Now, vaults are following the Bank of England base rate and managed by a massive asset manager called BlackRock, who have over 10 trillion of assets under management. And again, there is no minimums or maximums that you can deposit within these vaults, which is obviously very good because it's suitable for different types of people, right? And we can even see the interest that's paid out on a daily basis, and also on a monthly cadence as well. So that 4% will accumulate for the year, for example. Now, something to keep in mind with Lightyear is that they offer two types of shares, and that's whole units and fractional shares. Essentially, whole units are full shares. For example, if you wanted to buy 3 shares of Apple, you can buy 3 shares at Apple. But if that costs you $100, for example, you would need $100 to buy one. Whereas fractional shares can be divvied up into those units, so you can buy 0.25% of a share. So there are 2 different units on Lightyear, which you have to keep in mind, because if you don't have enough money within your account, you won't be able to buy the whole units, for example, which is slightly different to the other providers out there. And it's good that they have 2 options as well, but it's something to be mindful of. Now, in my opinion, why I think Lightyear is unique compared to the other providers out there is their ability to bring in news and aggregate it and make it digestible, especially for new users, right? And it kind of competes with a lot of the other providers that are not necessarily providing a investing service, but more of an analysis and research service, right? So if we have a look at Nvidia or Microsoft, as I already have shares in them, and we scroll down, it gives you a clear indication of when, for example, Microsoft are issuing new dividends, when they paid, what price they paid their dividends at, as well as some general features here. And if you wanted to dive deeper, you can have a look, for example, obviously at the market cap, different ratios that Microsoft have, the PE ratio, so how expensive the stock is, etc. And scrolling down, we can have a take on what analysts are saying. Now, although analysts are paid to do this, they're not obviously always right. But again, it's, from my opinion, it's always good to read as well what others are saying, come to your own judgments as well, to kind of see what other people are saying from the large asset managers as well. So we can see what the bulls are saying, the bears are saying, for example. This will obviously change just given off the sentiment at the minute, and it's important to not obviously take this as gospel as well, because markets change, and a tariff announcement could be announced and markets could just go in the opposite way. But it's definitely a good way to have a look at what's going on, and we have access to the financial statements as well. Now, from here we can see the different AI features that are being used, for example. So as we can see here, any keyword that has been announced that has the word Microsoft in it, Lightyear will pull that in, and we can see it here through articles or even different videos as well. And this just goes to the point of where a lot of providers that are not necessarily providing an investor service will provide a research service. They'll charge for this, and it's great that Lightyear has this to your fingertips essentially. And if we scroll down, we can see where Microsoft is contained within specific funds, which is good from a company perspective, especially if you wanted exposure to even faster growing companies like Nvidia, and you wanted more of a heavy weighted towards them, but maybe you don't want to be exposed to the stock individually. So you can very quickly see what funds Microsoft are included within. Now, I think Lightyear is a great app at the moment, and they're continuously adding new features onto the platform to make the experience a lot easier, especially for new investors. And I will definitely be using it as a part of my research stack. So that news feature that we saw there, very easy to see what's going on a weekly cadence within certain stocks. But in terms of having it on as my main investing platform right now, I will be sticking to Trading 212, although I have a general investing account with Lightyear, which again you'll see on my other videos. So let me know what you think, guys. Are you using Lightyear at the moment? And yeah, feel free to subscribe and like if you found this video helpful.